Yeah. Do you have any inkling as to what those specific things that happen on an outward bound trip that might have helped him to develop those skills and that deepen that thoughtfulness and that ability to reflect? Because those are key skills to be able to function in this world, and not everybody gets the chance to develop it. So what was it specifically about the outward bound experience that you think nurtured that and helped him to grow?
Yeah. Well, I think Outward Bound does a phenomenal job of creating a container for kids to show up and 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 reflect on the experience they're having as they're moving through it. Particularly for Bodhi, he went into the experience, I think, a little bit like, okay, this will be fun. I'll get to go canyoneering. I've never done that before. Um, he has a lot of experience in the outdoors. I mean, he's been backpacking since before he could walk. So I think he kind of carried that with him a little bit. Like, I'm not going to get that much out of it.
Hmm.
In I think he was kind of blown away by the educational aspects of the trip, um, the leadership that was turned over to the students, and a particular experience he had where he actually got really sick on course with a stomach bug
Hmm.
during the canoe portion of the trip. There was another student on the course who had some physical challenges that made it hard for him to participate in some of the more physical things. And I think at first, Bodhi kind of was, I don't know, I think he would say a bit judgmental about this person. And when he got sick and he had to lie on the bottom of the canoe for 2 days and had to rely on his team to essentially do everything for him, it really shifted his perspective in terms of, wow, here's this kid out here with these physical challenges that I don't have, and he's still out here and he's still doing it. And people are helping him, but they're also helping me. And so there it was just an opportunity, like one of those aha moments, like, okay, you know, just a big mind shift. And like I said, I just think Outward Bound does an incredible job of not only teaching the technical skills that kids and young adults and adults need to be out there in these environments where they may or may not have ever been, but they also do an incredible job of teaching people how to be in relationship with one another, which I just think is more needed now than ever.
Yeah, I got goosebumps when you said that about relationships,
Yeah.
because it really is so much about that. It's about the personal growth and the personal awareness that you were talking about. Um, and but it's also about how do we exist together? How do we get along? How do we navigate challenges or conflicts? How do we pick up the slack when somebody else can't? And forming those strong connections with other human beings. And I think something that maybe people who haven't participated in programs like Outward Bound don't realize how skilled the facilitators are, and the
Mhm.
the chaperones or the leaders in the group at creating an environment that allows for challenge by choice, but also challenge by default, because there's 15 kids together and there is going to be conflict. But those facilitators are incredibly skilled at supporting young people in that self discovery and in that navigation of relationships. And I think we don't celebrate that enough, or we're not aware. We think that we're sending them, or they think they're going, like you said in Bodhi's case, for this wilderness skill building adventure, hard skill building adventure. But often what they take away are those soft skills, that are
Mhm.
arguably more transferable than learning a great J stroke. There's so many things that you can apply that to, and be able to take that everywhere you go in your life.
Absolutely. Yes. Yep.
So now there are many, many programs out there and many, many opportunities. Was there something specific about Outward Bound that stuck out to you as a parent to choose this program above any others that are out there?
Hmm. Um, well, I would say that certainly I think my own background and connection with Outward Bound was a little bit of an influence. I know how they run their trainings. Um, I know they're really competent. I know they tend to be a more diverse, they tend to bring together more diverse participants. Um, and I really do appreciate the focus on the the relationship building that, and I'm not familiar with all of the programs out there, but but of the ones I do know, I think that Outward Bound does the best job of kind of building those soft skills, so to speak. Um, so and they offer great adventures. There was a little bit of the timing component, what courses were going to fit into the time frame that he had. So there were just a lot of little pieces that lined up to make it a really good choice.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's really important for parents who are listening to take away from that is the familiarity you have with the organization, the research you do with the organization can help you to feel more at ease in sending your baby somewhere without you, without their cell phone access, and really
Right.
spending that time to do your research. So
Yeah.
that you do feel comfortable in asking those questions of whatever program you're choosing so that you can get that information. Oh, Outward Bound has incredible facilitators. Oh, Outward Bound has diversity in the people who are participating in the program. Oh, Outward Bound has phenomenal risk management techniques that I feel comfortable with for when my kid gets a stomach bug and is on the floor of a canoe. Having that confidence in asking those questions can give parents a little bit of peace of mind. Like, don't get me wrong, you're still sending your baby, but at
Yeah.
least you know that they're in very competent, trustworthy hands.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say exactly that. Like reaching out and asking the questions is super important because even as a parent, I mean, I'm guessing I'm sort of one of the rarer um, parents in that I have intimate knowledge of the other side of the program. And even with that, I was like, oh my God, we're not going to talk to him for 30 days, right? Like, okay. So I know, and in my former job at Passages Northwest, one of my the aspects of my job was talking to parents whose kids were coming on our program. So I know that there's a lot or there can be a lot of anxiety about sending your kid out, especially if you're not a family who has a connection to the wilderness in the way that my family does. But talking to other parents whose kids have gone out on programs, as well as talking to the staff, can really go a long way in easing some of those concerns that you have.
Yeah, we actually have a download on our website of questions you should be asking program providers.
Mm,
So if this is new to our listeners, if this is something that you haven't done before, we do have a download where you can get those critical questions around safety, around the demographics of people who are participating in the program, on the leadership, all of those things, and Outward Bound can answer them no problem. Check, 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 check. And so we know that that is a place that we can feel confident. So if you don't know what questions to ask, fear not. We do have that list to help guide folks through that questioning process. And you may come up with other questions yourself that are valuable. So we will link to that resource in the show notes for anybody who needs a little bit of support. But it really is important that you feel that this is a place where your young person can be challenged and can thrive. And for you guys, Outward Bound was it. That was the best fit.